Ryan Garcia instructs his team to negotiate a fight with Devin Haney. They seemingly take to social media and agree that that should be next. They should fight. That's what I want to talk about in this video. You will learn all about it. Let's talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I am back with some more boxing. Ryan Garcia is calling for a fight with Gervonta Davis. He says, quote, "I've advised my team to contact Team Haney to discuss and make the fight happen between Devin and I. Hashtag Garcia Haney." He then goes on to say, "The ball is in your court, Devin. I've made my move, and I'm showing you and the boxing community that I'm committed to this fight. Garcia Haney." Let's go. Make sure you guys thumb up the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss a thing. Also follow me. You see at the top, Boxer Ego 1 on Instagram. Devin Haney responded to this, where Ryan's saying he's advised his team to make the fight, and Devin says, "These are facts." So I don't know if specifically he's heard from Ryan's team, Golden Boy, or his lawyer or anybody, but he's seemingly confirming this on his end. Ego thoughts, man. I love the fight. What could I say? Devin Haney, he's been paving quite the path for himself, doing very well for himself. He's maturing right before your eyes. He did very good in terms of performances. I believe his very last performance versus Regis Prograis was his most complete performance. He showed the most poise, the most maturity against a dangerous southpaw puncher. And unlike some of the other past Devin Haney like buildups, this one got pretty chippy, right? Where Regis Prograis, he was saying all the things he was gonna do. Devin Haney and his team, they were like, "What you gonna do when you have to pick up the Rougarou?" So they were talking their trash. The strength and conditioning guy, he was talking his stuff, and it was, a really good buildup, and it was an intense buildup where the two both promised big things. But the difference is one man actually made good on those promises, and we know that to be Devin Haney. Devin Haney, literally everything he said, he pretty much did in that fight. He had his way with Regis Prograis, pause. He jabbed him, he hit him high, hit him low, body, head. He danced around him. He stood in the pocket. He backed him up. He hurt him. He dropped him in one of the rounds. And it was just an overall very sharp performance. Now, that was Devin Haney's very first fight at 140 pounds. He did rehydrate pretty heavily to 165. Stay tuned. For those that don't know, and I'll explain Canelo Alvarez, when he was a 154-pound fighter, and he fought Floyd at the catchweight of 152, Canelo Alvarez rehydrated to 165. So that is a lot of weight in general for a guy who, in his first fight to 140, he's rehydrating to that much. But it's not against the rules. He made the weight with Regis Prograis, and he did his thing. So at the end of the day, unless there's like some rehydration clause, you're free to do that. And again, that was Devin Haney's very first performance at 140 pounds, and he looked sensational. Did everything he said he was going to do. Ryan Garcia has had a very similar path in terms of moving up in weight from being a big lightweight, just like Devin Haney. He was a big lightweight. Said he needed to give his body a break, and he was moving up in weight, and he did just that. However, the stories are a bit different because Ryan Garcia did win this fight, and this is the funny thing about boxing, the sweet science. It's super funny that you have Devin Haney, who dropped his opponent, hurt his opponent, but went 12 rounds with this opponent. And then you have Ryan, who actually got a nice knockout, and he stopped his opponent, and his opponent was, very hurt and rocked. But despite one guy getting a knockout and then the other guy going the decision, the guy that went the decision looked better, because boxing there's more to it. There's more dynamics. Hit, the art of hit and don't get hit, not getting caught with anything, looking untouchable. You got to factor in more than just like offense. It's also what's your defense looking like. So it's clear to see that Devin Haney looks sharper in his first fight at 140. I'll take it a step further. In my personal belief, I believe Devin Haney looked better in his first fight at 140 than even Teofimo did, right? Teofimo moved up and fought Pedro Campa. And in that fight, he got the stoppage, but I don't think Teofimo looked as well as Devin Haney. Devin Haney was just, on his game, and like I said, did whatever he wanted with Regis Prograis. So Devin really had the best performance. Nevertheless, each fight is its own fight, and at the end of the day, we got to see the fights because you're only as good as your last performance. Styles make fights. Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia, it's a completely different bag. The two have history. The two have actually fought in the past. And for those who don't know, they fought 6 times as amateurs. So nothing on their pro record, but 6 times as amateurs. And stay tuned to the end of this video. I'll tell you how those 6 fights played out. But now a word from our sponsor. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working. As you guys see, Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, they've known each other for more than a decade. And in the amateurs, they fought on 6 different occasions, so 6 times. And ironically, they split those 6 fights, meaning Ryan Garcia won 3 of those fights and Devin Haney won 3 of those fights. So I understand some people will say, oh, but ego, that was the amateurs. No, Sherlock, of course. I'm not saying it wasn't the amateurs. I just told you it was the amateurs, so obviously I know it's the amateurs. See, I hate when people say stupid stuff like, I'll do a video commentating on someone hitting the heavy bag, and I'll be like, oh, the person looks good, they look sharp. And they're like, oh, heavy bags don't hit back. Like, no, Sherlock, of course. Everybody knows that. So, amateurs, you got to separate it from the pro game, just like sparring. When a fighter spars and like, oh, I got off on this person in sparring and stuff, really is not an indication of how an actual fight would play out. Because when 2 people spar, for example, you might be catching someone any type of way. They didn't have no training camp. They just hopped in the gym and had their bag. Because I know boxers that just travel with their stuff, with their gear, with their wraps, war tape, mouthpiece, headgear, gloves, etc. So at the end of the day, you never know when you're catching somebody. They might just be like not ready in that given moment. But if you give a fighter a full training camp dedicated to training towards a main common goal of fighting this one person, that's when people show up under the bright lights. You dig? So at the end of the day, I don't really hold the sparring. I don't really hold amateurs in terms of, what would happen today. Because you look at Devin Haney, I mean, that would be stupid. You look at Ryan Garcia even, that would be stupid because both guys have done things and changed things over the years, right? You would negate the ability to grow as a human, as a man, or from a boy to a man if you think that nothing was learned in the last several years, 6, 8, 10 years. So that doesn't make sense to me. Devin Haney, when he was fighting against Ryan Garcia in the amateurs, he hadn't made $1 million through boxing, right? Now he has. Devin Haney at that time, when he was fighting Ryan Garcia, he wasn't a multiple division weight champion. Now he is. Same thing with Ryan. Ryan hadn't fought Gervonta Davis and cashed out in such a big way, right? So you have to factor in all these things. And I always think that experience is underrated in the sport of boxing. People always leave out experience and how much of a difference that makes to have or have not experience. So I think it'd be a completely different fight if these guys were to scrap and lace them up today. I have seen interviews with Ryan Garcia where he's alleging that Devin Haney like never could hurt him and he would just like outbox him and things like that. And Ryan Garcia was saying that he clipped and hurt Dev back in the day when they fought. But again, things change because like Devin Haney, Regis Prograis, he rehydrated to 165. So if Ryan has never been, I'm just going off of what he's saying, but if he's never been hurt by Devin Haney and he's expecting, just a pure boxer and a guy who can't hurt him, now fast forward to the future as his body's filled out, maybe he has different techniques and styles, maybe he sits on his punches different or whatever, then you don't want to go in there underestimating that aspect of it. Plus, 140 is a new division for both of them. So I do think this is a great fight for both. I have no problems with the fight. I think it would be a big fight 2024 for boxing. Now, I would be remiss, and I wouldn't be called boxing ego, if I left out pertinent details. So I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. The only issue that I have with this fight, and it's not really even an issue with the fight, meaning if they could get it done, great fight for boxing. The only real issue I have is you have a lot of the haters that say Gervonta Davis has a horrible resume, when's he gonna step up and all that type of stuff. He already beat an undefeated Ryan Garcia, and I see in the comment section people are praising a fight with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, yet some of those same people are saying, when is Tank gonna step it up? He needs to fight someone. And as the smaller guy of 5'5", 5'6", or whatever Tank's height is, he already fought the undefeated Ryan Garcia, dropped him and knocked him down. So how can we not give credit to Tank for names like Ryan Garcia, even Rolly, and then people like Ryan Garcia want to fight Rolly, or Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia want to fight each other, and Tank already been there, done that with Ryan and Rolly. So that makes absolutely no sense. But for more boxing, subscribe. YouTube will now show you other videos that I have done, so you get all caught up for all your boxing needs. Best in the business, and it's not even close.